Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first episode of Scotty's Housing Economics. Um, I've been wanting to do this for a while because I want a place that I can share my ideas, my thoughts, and almost kind of like a podcast idea of explaining why we're in the market we're in, what we're going to do about it, how it's going to change, when it's going to balance out, et cetera, et cetera. So, the focus of today's show, all right, is why is the North Central Florida market declining? Okay. When will it stop declining? And what can we do in the meantime? All right. So on with the show. First off, I want to share my screen with you guys. I want to show you something here real quick. All right. So the reason I believe that the housing market is declining isn't that we have a lack of people who want to buy houses. I don't believe that's the case. Let's compare this to '08 when we had the last big slide. All right. In 2008, what happened, because I lived through it, I was one of the people who were writing the crazy loans because everybody was. In 2008, what really essentially happened was we had a bunch of speculation buying. Well, why did we have a bunch of speculation buying? Because money was basically like anybody could get it. Okay. If you called me up back then with a 580 credit score and wanted 100% financing on an investment property, I could get you that loan. I know that's freaking crazy. I know we should have never done it as a economy, as a country, as a government, whoever you want to blame for it. Watch The Big Short. You can blame just about everybody has blame on that. Okay. But at the end of the day, we allowed the wild west of lending where we just lent money to just virtually anybody for any reason and it didn't matter and there's no brain power behind it. All right. So that allowed, I mean, I'll give you my own example. I had a neighbor who lived two houses down from me who we owned in this new community that's being built, and the builder, we were in the first phase of building. So we thought we won the lottery. We got the house for, 30% of what they started selling for toward the end before the big crash happened. And so he bought like three more properties on the way up. And unfortunately, he didn't sell them quick enough because what ended up happening was the market crashed. He ended up holding the bag on all of them. He couldn't even rent them out and he lost them all. All right. So that was what I would call the market of bad lending and speculative buying because everybody and their brother thought they were going to be a landlord. All right. This time it's different. What's different about this time? This time it is a affordability problem. Okay. It isn't that there's any lack of people who want to buy houses. I mean, look at the young groups out there. Go talk to anybody probably 30 or younger who doesn't own a home and ask them why are you not buying a house? A lot of them might say, I want to buy a house, or they'll just straight up tell you, I can't afford it. And so what I believe we're in now is what I would call the affordability bubble. Last time it was the speculation bubble and bad lending bubble, but this time it's the affordability bubble. So let me show you a perfect example. I'm going to share it with you of why we're in an affordability bubble. All right, so bear with me 1 second. Pop this screen up here for you real quick. All right, so why we are in a affordability bubble. So let's look at this. North Central Florida, the median household income in this area, okay, is $58,000 a year. All right. Take home pay after taxes, all that fun stuff. Actually, I go back a slide. Sorry, guys. But median household income in this area, $58,000 a year. After taxes and stuff, that puts your take home pay at about 4,200 bucks. The old adage, and honestly, this is what I personally believe. I think people buy when they see that the monthly housing expense for them is going to be as close to 30% of their take home pay as possible. I think most people would agree with me. All right. So that would mean that the housing expense for them would have to be about 1,463 bucks a month. Does anybody see anybody getting any big raises that would offset this anytime soon? I personally don't. I think the market's flat on people getting pay raises. In some places, it's actually going down. So anyway, that's that number. So the current reality is that because of stupid low interest rates and the COVID market and pumping $8 trillion into the economy in a period of 4 years, we have ballooned home prices in this area up to the median sales price, okay, being 282,000. Today's average interest rate would, if you're not paying any discount points, is somewhere around 7.25%. Don't believe the hype that you guys are seeing on the news about, oh, the average rate in America is like 6.5 or 6.7. That is not true. What's actually happening is when they report those numbers, you don't know how much money people are paying to buy those rates down. So what I like to look at to really compare apples to apples is what the average rate is without paying discount points. All right. So median home price 282, right around average interest rate about 7.25. It might even be a little higher right now. Put your total monthly payment with taxes and insurance right around $21.99 a month. Okay. So for that median household earner there, okay, that's 52% of their take-home pay. So they won't even qualify to buy that. They would have to buy something cheaper unless they were able to negotiate a much lower rate or something along those lines. All right, now add in the cost. Let's say this is my friend ChatGPT helped me out with this. So I asked it, take, a couple with a couple kids and a couple cars and what you'd normally see. Their total costs here are somewhere probably around 57.80 a month. That's a little bit high, obviously, because otherwise they wouldn't be able to afford to even drive around. But add in the housing expense and you're at like 7,900 bucks. All right. That's a deficit of like 37.44. I would say, this slide's a little bit off. You could probably adjust that down by maybe $1,500. But at the end of the day, we can see what the problem is, right? When the median household income can't support the median sales price house, we are at an imbalance. And the only way to get back in balance is for a couple different things to happen. So this is when people are asking me, well, Scott, if we're in a declining market, when do you think we're going to get back to, hit the bottom and then bounce back off of it? Well, I would say we can't hit the bottom until the cost of owning a home gets to about 30% of our audience's take home pay. That's about where we need to be, as close to 30% as humanly possible. So when the median home costs on a monthly basis about 33% or less the median household income pay, that's when we're going to see the decline stop. So how far would we have to fall, really? Okay, how far would the prices need to fall in combination with the rates? Now, if the rates go down dramatically, this changes these numbers, okay? So, but let's just assume the rates aren't changing. Then how far would the house prices have to fall? They would have to fall from about 282 down to about 190,000. All right. That is like a 40% reduction in the sales price of the houses if the interest rates stay the same. If the rates magically go down to 5% or something like that as just the going rate, then obviously you don't need to fall as far. So, but as long as rates are staying where they're at, and I honestly think they're going to stay there for longer than most people do. I hate to sit there. I like to live in the here and now. Okay, here and now, here's what we have. We have higher rates. Cool. Well, what are we going to do about it? We can't do anything about it. It's not in our control. The only thing we can control is the home prices. So this is going to continue to put pressure on home prices to drop. And this affects everything from the cheaper homes, and it will have a trickle up effect to the more expensive properties as well. All right. So until affordability returns, expect to continue downward pressure. All right. That's my own opinion. But I think it's got a lot of logic behind it. Okay. So what do we do in the meantime, guys? What do we do in the meantime? We need to focus on learning negotiation skills. All right. So first and foremost, help clients negotiate heavily. All right. And what do I mean by negotiation? It's not about getting just the sales prices down. Those are going to come down. Don't get me wrong. They will come down. Okay. But we need to focus on getting the interest rates lower. Because just let's say that 7.25, a 2% reduction in that interest rate makes it as if that $280,000 house, we agree is the median sales price right now. A 2% reduction makes it equivalent to you getting that house in your monthly payment as if the house price itself came down by about $60,000, 60 grand. Okay. So it's as if you got it for like 220. Now it's not quite all the way to the 190 we just talked about, but it is a huge significant change. So, if I'm a home buyer right now, number one, if I've got a seller that I'm talking to who's not willing to negotiate at all, pass. If they're not willing to give concessions, pass. I know if you're a cash buyer, all that matters is price. So this is really geared toward people who want to get a mortgage. But at the end of the day, here's the type of offer I'd be making right now. It's not insulting, but it gets done what you need to get done and makes your payment affordable. I would be any house I want to offer, I'd offer 3% below list plus ask for about 6% seller contributions. And that's assuming that my realtor did their homework and verified that the listing price they have it at is a reasonable price. Okay. And as this keeps happening, as you guys can tell, if my neighbor just did that and took that offer, then what happens if I've got my house on the market? Well, I'm going to have to come in even lower than that on the next one. And it goes down and down and down and down until we get to a place where affordability is really almost like too affordable. Okay. Or there's an inventory shortage again because everybody starts jumping back into the market. Let's say the rates drop significantly, then that's when it goes back up. So as long as the rates are staying where they're at, this is our goal for the next 3, 6, 12, 24 months. I don't know. We got to just see what's going to happen here because frankly, until the rates come down significantly and affordability improves, we can't serve our own demographic. So the prices will continue to fall. It's slowly and surely. That's just what I believe will happen. Okay. So anyway, thank you guys for viewing today. This isn't a point of being negative, it's a point of being the best. The best are going to go out and learn how to negotiate. And they're going to find these deals. They're going to find these sellers. One other tip I would definitely give you. When you go to make an offer on a house, look at when the seller bought the house. Okay. If they bought in the last 2 to 3 years, chances are they bought at the peak of the market. They're going to be less likely to wheel and deal. Not all. I mean, if they've got money in their pocket or they paid cash for it or something like that. But if they've got a mortgage and they, bought at the peak, they may not be able to deal. They may not be able to come to table with closing money. Having a seller come to closing with money. Now, if they bought 4, 5, 6, 10, 20 years ago, rock and roll, negotiate. Negotiate. You will find somebody who's going to give you an awesome deal right now. And so those buyer's agents who have got that mentality of, I'm going to get you the best stinking deal. I'm going to get you the best stinking rate. And I'm going to work with the lender who knows how to do it. You're going to win every single time. And you're going to come through this like a stinking rock star because the people who can't do this, they're going to get out of the business. I'm telling you, they are. This is exactly what happened last time. Different problem, same results. Anyway, thank you guys for watching Scotty's Housing Economics. I appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.